this new module, we're going to be creating a magazine cover, and I'm in Artsonia right now. We're just going to look at some of the magazine covers that were created by students last year. So I want you to pay attention to a couple things here. First of all, anything you're interested in, they're going to have a magazine for. So whether you like sports, you like gaming, you like teen stuff, whatever it is, there's going to be a magazine for you. So first of all, find a magazine that's interesting to you, something that you're going to enjoy creating. And as you look at these student examples, ask yourself, does this look like a real magazine cover? If I were in the store and I was walking by the magazine aisle and I saw this, would I think anything strange about it? Like, is it off? Does it just not look right? So start paying attention to those kinds of things. So find the magazine cover that you like. You're going to actually get an example of a real magazine cover so that you can be sure to have all of the elements to make it look authentic. You'll notice, for example, Time magazine has a red border around it. National Geographic always has a yellow border around it. Each of these magazines has its own style of title. So these titles are not just typed out with a font that you find. They are actually designed with a very unique font, and it relates only to their logo. So you need to find an actual good image of their logo and copy and paste it in. You can't just use the type tool for the title. Otherwise, it won't look like the right font for that magazine. Okay, and you can also go into Artsonia and you can start looking at some of these magazine covers that were created by your fellow students. This magazine right here, this Traveler magazine, and it's a National Geographic magazine, actually won Best of Class in the San Diego County Fair. It's a very nice design and very well done. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to figure out what magazine you want to use. Once you've done that, you're going to then find a magazine that you're going to be using as your reference. So I am going to be creating a parent's magazine. This is a picture of my grandson taken a long time ago. He's 7 now, but he was a baby back then. And so since I have an image that I want to use for the front of my magazine, I pulled that up so I can choose. So I have 4 parents' magazines that I like for one reason or another. And I want to pick the one that's going to work best with these colors as far as color scheme, the image itself. So I do like this color scheme. This is a holiday edition. I'm not sure if the colors in this image are going to work well with this. I'm going to include the blanket that he's on just because he's really just so a part of that blanket. But I'm going to cut out everything in the background here. But he is in these blue colors, and so I'm not sure if this one's going to work. I might be able to get away with this one, although this baby is in more pink colors. This is the one that really has the blue theme to it, so I may actually just end up going with something more like this as far as color scheme. And I really liked this one. This one was a Halloween issue, really cute. I like the colors. It has a baby in the front, although again, I'm not sure that these colors are matching what's going on here very much. The baby's very neutral. So I probably will be going with the color scheme more similar to this one. Now, when I opened all of these magazine covers in Adobe Photoshop, I saw that they all are really close to a ratio of 11:14. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I'll go ahead and open this one. This one, by the way, if I click through these, you'll notice it's the smallest one and it's not a good resolution. But for your reference magazine, you don't need a good resolution as long as you can see it well enough to know how to set up your magazine, you really don't need that to be a high quality. So I'm going to go into my folder where I have started a new magazine cover folder, and I will open this one with Photoshop, and I'll show you how to check the size of that. Okay, so to check, you're actually just checking the ratio. So if I go to image size, I want to make sure this chain is on, which it is. And so this is a pretty tiny image right here. It's 3.6 inches by 4.8 inches with a 100 pixel per inch resolution. But some of our classroom print sizes and some very common sizes are 8.5 by 11. So I'm first going to change the width to 8.5. And I am really close to 11 here. So I think an 8.5 by 11 would work for me. But I also want to check 11 by 14. So 11 by 14 is also very close. You can see I'm not that far off of 14 for my height. And the other size that works nicely for the magazines is 12 by 18. Now this one's a little bit further off than 12 by 18. So I think I'm going to set up my magazine in an 11 by 14 because I do want to go with as large size as I can. So I'm going to go File, New. And I will make my width 11, my height 14. I'm going to have the resolution at 300. And at this point, I could choose either RGB color or I could choose CMYK. If I really want to know what this magazine will look like printed, I could go with CMYK. But I'll just keep it on RGB color. That way I have a larger range of colors to choose from. I will be posting this on Artsonia, which is online, so I can use some of those brighter colors. So this is a preference. It's up to you. If you really want to know what that will look like printed, then go ahead and go with CMYK. I think magazine designers probably work in CMYK because it's usually a printed thing. Although there are a lot of online magazines these days, so you never know about that. And my background contents happen to be set to black from the postage stamp project, so I'm going to change that to white. Name this last name, first name, and magazine cover, and create. Okay, so there is the beginnings of my magazine cover, and I'm going to just be using this as a reference. So if I want to pull this out to the side, I'm just using it to look at. And I want each of you to do that. So no matter what type of magazine, if you're doing Nintendo, make sure you get a reference magazine, something that you like the looks of it, the way it's set up, the colors that you can use, because since we are amateur designers here, so we really kind of need something to guide us along with this. And the first thing I want you to do today is get that title. So remember, you can't just type it in with the text tool. That's not going to work. So we're going to go back online. And it's important this time that you do get a high resolution image. So I'm going to type in Parents Magazine. And I'm going to type in logo. That might help my chances of getting just that title logo. Okay, and then going to images, and it looks like I do have some logo choices here. And I want to go to tools, and this time I want to search large images. Okay, so these all look like they're large. So I think any one of these would work. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. I need to view the image. I'll pull it out to the desktop for now. And going back into Photoshop, I'll go ahead and open that up, and I want to get it on my magazine cover. Okay, so this is going to be really easy. I got lucky because I found a nice clean image and it's on a white background. So this is going to be really simple. I'm going to go up to select color range. It's all one solid color. So let me grab the pink, say OK, and Command C, coming over here, Command V, and right away I'm going to name my layers so it's not confusing. This is going to be title. Command T, and I want to move it up into place. And I don't want anything too close to the edge. When you're working in print, you always have a bleed area, and you don't want to get too close to the edge because things do get cut off during the print process. Okay, so I have that. That looks great. If you don't get so lucky with this, some things that you want to look for, let's just go back online. So let's say you can't find a clean logo like that. And you just need to type in the name of your magazine. Maybe this is the best you can do. Still, you want to view large images and things to watch out for. So like on this magazine right here, if I open that up, this would not be a good choice because this person's head is blocking part of that logo. So that would be a poor choice to work with. Now on magazines, you'll notice sometimes they put the subject in front of the logo and sometimes behind. So I want to find one where it's behind. So this one would work because I do have some removal to do, but it's a clean image and I can see the whole thing. There's nothing blocking that parent's logo right there. So this would be a good one to work with. So if you can't get the logo isolated by itself, use a large image. This one's pretty large. This was one of the ones I had open earlier. I could have used this. Okay, so that's just a tip if you're unable to find the logo. Now, once you do get your logo in there, you're going to look at your reference magazine. And mine is small, but I'm going to zoom in so I can see what's going on specifically with this logo a little bit better. So you'll notice that it has the website right here, parents.com, and it has November 2008 up here. So I need to add those two things. I don't see any serifs. It's in all caps and it's a nice clean font. So let's go ahead and activate our type tool. We're going to go ahead and go to black. And okay, I'm on Helvetica, so let's just start with that because Helvetica is a nice clean font. It's a very common font. So I'm going to put my cap locks on and type in parents.com. And looking where that's placed, just above the A. And back over here, Command T. Let's move that up where it would go. And looking at it, I don't think Helvetica is the best match for that. So I will work with that a little bit. So this one's a lot bolder than what I have with Helvetica. It's a little bit taller and more condensed, where the letters are just a little bit closer together. So let's try Arial, which is another really common sans serif font. So here's Arial. I think that's going to be a lot closer. And also, you guys used Arial Black with your postage stamp, and you know that's Arial, but much bolder. So let's just try that and see how that looks. So Arial Black. Okay, so I'm noticing that this is still much taller and more condensed, so closer together. There is a way to play with that lettering to get, and that's kerning, if you remember, to move the letters closer together. That means you're kerning it. And there is a way to do that, but I think I would rather just look in here and find a font that's going to match that a little bit more closely. And I'm going to use that trick where I highlight the text and I highlight the text window up here, the font window, and I just use my down arrow and I'm just watching and I'm looking for a kind of plain sans serif that's a little bit more condensed, and that one actually is. And notice it's called condensed, so you can find some condensed fonts in here. So I think this one might do the job. Let's zoom in as we're working so I can get it placed better and see a little bit more what I've got here. Okay, I think that font actually is going to work nicely. Okay, I think that looks really good and matches pretty closely over here to what my sample magazine had. Now, the November 2008 is really, it's the same font as this. So I've already got my font. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my date in there, and I'll actually use the date that this picture was taken, and that was March 2011. Okay, and so I'm noticing that the parents.com is 13.34 point, so I will set the March 2011 to that same size. And using my smart guides, I have those lined up. Perfect. Okay, so I have the beginnings of my magazine cover here. I want to, since it's the first time I'm saving, do a file save as and make sure that I'm navigating into my folder. And we will continue this next time.